Hello. Today I want to answer some comment I got from a 5-1, I think sacral manifestor. Anyway, I would say that understanding how easy it is to get flattered by Ra is actually a lot closer to my objective than most people. You kind of wrote, like, what kind of person am I that I would say I know better than Ra? But the kind of person I am is patently different from Ra. I didn't understand at the beginning what that flattery was all about. I think when I told him in January 99 that the training program we developed at his suggestion, request, everything didn't work. And I was completely sure that he would say, well, what would you imagine? Of course, I got to go on my own because for me, the starting point was that my relationship deteriorated with the introduction of the human design system. And I felt like that was what I had to prove, that human design could be used for the good. And so it took years, by the way, for me to do that. But going back to the comment with the 5-1, whatever human being, what occurred to me is that that gift Ra had, which was to flatter people, he would use insults in the same context, being accurate to saying, oh, look at, you're so screwed up or whatever. But people would associate that he knew what he was talking about and it sounded really good and gee, wow, that's great. But, and of course, his main theory, philosophy was no fault being. You don't have choice. And I now would go on to say that Ra's no choice and my do unto others golden rule was something that really polarized me from the work that Ra had done. Ra used to walk by me and say, when are you going to get off your white path trip? And I, just smile. I was so oblivious. Oh my God. And I would say that piece, that after being flattered, I would be condemned and crushed and whatever. This was even before I started to work toward my own understanding of design by getting rid of the Ra influence. But, I was going to say very shortly to whoever it was who commented, how come I am not respectful of my teacher, that I wanted to say I loved Ra. I was totally a fan. But, it's that thing that as a psychopath, he doesn't care about other people or, didn't care about other people. And I was shocked to my core. How could he do this to me? I was just leveled. And I would say that my objective is different from your objective. If you follow Ra's interpretation and you feel like your life works for you and so on, who am I to say you shouldn't do that? Except that if I understand life and my deep worry about the influence of Ra's interpretation on the human design system, this was quite hard for me to reconcile that he got that magnificent gift of the tool of human design, and then he, in his arrogance, wrote the Ravi Ching. Oh my God. And so let's take a moment to say what the very fundamental difference between Ra's work and my work is. I am motivated to knowing that human design could be used for the good. And Ra's interpretation, I haven't seen that. I have seen it as something in my personal life that justification for the heart center definition, the egoist in the marriage, that support for being a jerk was something that Ra kept with, and he absolutely ruined my relationship with Chaitanya. But to be fair, I already was a bit of a shrew, and I really hadn't done my homework on the human design system, which I did thereafter. And it did take several years for me to understand how my design and my influence, conditioning influence on other people, was that I really needed to grasp it. So, going what the difference is, back to that, my objective is to aim for the good, to see what virtue is, to make my relationships functional. This was not something that was Ra's gift at all. He made stuff up right and left. Oh my God. Anyway, I wrote somebody recently how tricky it was with Ra, because he would come up with something totally flashy. Oh, gee, that sounds great. All you need is this. And in fact, my objective to, let's say, what is the path? What is the wake up? What is the education? What do you need to learn? That is how I use a chart. I use it so that I could describe how to treat your world with grace, and if you freak out, how to back up so that you don't influence other people by getting more negativity going around. No, we want to clean up our world. The I Ching is completely important to students of human design. Now, Ra when he first came, he would say, "Oh, I did all the work. All you have to do is open the book and read whatever I wrote, whatever I named." And I would say that that's the reason it did not work. After that 5 years, it was evident nobody could understand how to look at charts raw. Even if he was a brilliant guy, he didn't teach how to use the chart, how to read the body graph. He just came up with his own. You know what? Projectors ought to shut up. They keep interrupting me. That's what I think he had about me, that I was somebody who, his idea, no kidding. Suzanne Bayless, she said the same thing. It's like, you're telling me what to do, and I am supposed to thank you. I had that thing. Oh, you projector, you are going to be so grateful that I tell you how to manifest and what to do. Manifest for me. And Suzanne would joke with me, what is he thinking? And I would say all of us suffered that. What was he thinking anyway? The main thing is, I think Ra really did not want to promote virtue and what it was to live according to the good. That wasn't what motivated him. What motivated him was selling, figuring out how to make human design a commodity. And my objective was different. And so when I saw the way that he developed an entire interpretation based on his design and how the ego would come up to the conclusion, stuff like you're selfish by design. My work, I would never come up with that conclusion, no matter what the chart looked like. Because if somebody was selfish, I would want to assist what education that person needed to make sure that that selfishness was beneficial to others. Anyhow, watch the ego. You can tell if you feel inflated. The other side is you can tell if you feel deflated or embarrassed or something. I think our understanding of how the human design system can be used is a job we all have. And unless you're using it for your wake up, check always what the highest good is. If you're looking at a chart and you cannot answer what the highest good is, this is what your exercise starts with. I wish you the best. I love human design, and if you love Ra and the work, the development of the ego, you and I are on opposite paths. I'm not interested in developing the ego. I'm interested in getting past it. So, that's maybe a very important thing. If you are not on the path of enlightenment, I may not be the right person for you. But if you are on the path of greed and the big banks, maybe Jovian is for you. I don't know. I think he made stuff up and people condemn themselves rather than realizing that they got no education whatsoever. Anyway, I'm shutting it down.